Hi everyone, I'm Sanjana and I have Sanjeev with me today to talk about meme marketing. Hi Sanjeev, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey Sanjana, big fan of your podcast. Really happy to be doing this.
Happy to hear that from you, Sanjeev. So to introduce Sanjeev, Sanjeev is currently the product manager at Superops and he's also the co-founder of this amazing tool called Supermeme.ai. So we're going to talk about meme marketing today and why it's time for B2B marketers to create memes. And of course, Sanjeev will be running us through the meme creation process. So I'm really excited about this conversation because it's kind of a unique topic that I'm covering in this channel. And I have a lots of learn too. So Sanjeev, why not we get started?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So before we start, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Like, where did you start your career and where are you now?
All right. So I think I'm a very confused person when it comes to career because I started in support, and that is again not my choice. Right? You finish college, you get into a job, and then they put you in a role, and then you just do it. But
Yeah.
it taught me a lot, and then I moved into sales from there. So and then from sales, I moved into product marketing, and now I'm a product manager. And like it's been like almost a decade, but I'm still I wouldn't say that I'm sure of what I exactly want to do, and that's why I say I'm confused, right? Because I like bits and pieces and everything, and so yeah, that's where I am. And whenever I'm in a role, it's very natural for me to try to get curious about what someone else is doing. So that's why it's like this move has also been natural, but at the same time, I think it's about time I kind of find a place and just settled out because it's been a while and I kept jumping.
I think you're at the right spot because being a product manager, you have to know the bits and pieces of everything. So I think you're at the right spot now.
Yes, that's what I'm telling myself as well.
Okay. And like I know that you're also the co-founder of this tool called Supermeme. Like, what made you create this tool, and do you have like a flashback story?
Oh yeah, it's a nice story actually.
Yeah.
So like it started again. I didn't create the tool, right? So it's with two other people, Ramsri, who's from Hyderabad, and Nico, who's from Netherlands. So what happened was Ramsri and I were connected through the LinkedIn Creators Program. So we got on a call and like we just like knew each other and we added each other on LinkedIn. And so I was creating a no-code tool for a course that I was taking, and it was a meme database. So what I did was I gathered memes from Image Flip, and the problem that I was trying to solve is when you're trying to find the right template, if you don't know the name, you'll not be able to find it. So I started tagging memes by emotions, and then I put them on this DB and put it out there as a no-code product. And at the same time, Ramshree was trying to create an AI meme generator. So his idea was that can we use AI to create memes? And he was just exploring it. And we saw each other posting on it. There's obviously something that we could do together. And then we got on a call, and then we figured out, okay, you know what, if we can we turn this into a legit product that people can actually buy for? I think from day one, we just wanted to explore. We don't want to create this as a hobby product that we just want to try. We were serious that we wanted to see if we can make some money out of it. And we found Ramsey knew Nico, and we got him on board as the full stack developer. And Ramsey takes care of the entire AI part of it, and I bring the meme context. So because I'm also a user of this product, so I kind of like help with training and help with the prompts and help with just cataloging the memes, the meme templates, and just doing the things that I like doing. So this is the kind of story of how we got together. So we haven't met. It's been like 6 months that we're working together. We haven't met each other. We do one Zoom call, and everything else is from a WhatsApp group. We just exchange messages on a WhatsApp group, and it's fully async.
Great. Yeah, we're going to talk about this tool a lot in the conversation today. And before that, I also wanted to ask, like, you create a lot of these corporate humor videos on LinkedIn, right? Like, what made you think that you can do such corporate humor videos? Like, like what was your moment that you realized that you can do this?
I think the moment was when I saw other people doing it. So there is this stand-up comedian in New York. She's called Alexis Gay, and she does a lot of this Silicon Valley and
Oh,
tech slash humor. And I saw her
okay.
videos, and I've always wanted to create them. But then the actual time when I sat down to create a video, I wanted to create a productivity video. So I sat down, I set up the camera and everything, and I shot 3 reasons that you can be productive, or something about note taking, some serious video. And I shot it, and I played it back, and I was like, you know what, no one's gonna watch this. There's no point trying to create these videos because it's so boring. And I already had the setup, and I was like, you know what? I've already set up the camera. I've already set up all these things. Let's just try something different. And that's when I remembered her video. And I want to do something for product managers because I just become a product manager and I was confused about the role myself. So I want to bring out that confusion, like, through a video. I tried that. And like, yeah, I'm very grateful that, it took off and people really liked it. And I think from then on, it's been like trying to observe things at work and like, what are some of the common patterns and try to bring that out through humor. So that's the story for the videos.
Great. Amazing. That's inspiring. Okay. So moving on to the topic, like why do you place so much importance on, considering memes or humor in doing marketing?
I think it evolved over a period of time. So personally for me, I've been using memes even before they were called memes, right? Like earlier, I used to download some random images from the internet, like, try to place some text on it and like circulate it around with friends. But then I started using them seriously when I was working in pre-sales and product marketing. So what I used to do is when I used to do conference presentations is when I started exploring them seriously. So I was observing a lot of conference presentations and they were pretty plain, right? You have bullet points, you have text, and you have like stats and charts and everything. But what I wanted to try was, can we kind of bring in some sort of humor, but at the same time, try to communicate the point? And turns out memes are a great way to communicate your ideas. So I started using them in presentations and I started noticing that people are laughing out loud. And it's a great feeling when you're standing up there, you're showing something on a slide and people are laughing. Like, that's very addictive. So that's where it started. And then I started using them on social media and it started that I saw that it resonated, especially from a work context. So all the ideas that I want to communicate, and especially because I was young and I was not experienced, so me writing a blog post is going to look pretentious, right? It's going to look like me trying too hard. But whereas a meme is something that I'm qualified to do, and I'm just talking about the problem, I'm not giving an opinion. So it became a great way to talk about ideas, and over time, I started using it in every possible place. Like I started using it in internal posts. I started using it in conversations with friends, and I started using it in blog posts, like wherever I tried using. And from there, the viewpoint of why brands or marketing teams should start using it kind of evolved. So again, the challenge for every marketing team is that you're trying to stand out. Like there's so many trends going on. There are so many things that marketers are trying to do. The challenge is to get noticed. The challenge is to get attention. And if you look at memes and if you look at the kind of content, let's say if you're scrolling through your LinkedIn or even Instagram, the kind of engagement that a good meme can get you is way ahead of, let's say, any kind of promotional content that you can put out as a brand. And that is kind of where I thought, why aren't brands leveraging memes as much as they should be? Because they're clearly a popular way to communicate your ideas. So that's kind of where it started and where it evolved.
Great. And I think the most common question among marketers would be like, I'm not creative or I'm not humorous. Then in that instance, how can I get started with meme marketing? Because the job demands that I bring in some sort of humor into my marketing. But like, as you rightly said that you're qualified to do memes, but I'm not qualified, to do meme marketing. So like, what tips do you have for marketers like me?
Okay, I think if I have to put on my sales hat, I would say you should use Supermeme.ai, but that's one answer. Okay, so see, when it comes to meme marketing, right? You like any other craft. For example, if you're not a writer, don't force yourself. If it's not your natural skill, don't force yourself to write. And not everyone has to be a writer. It's the same thing with meme marketing as well. And it's not that you have to do it. That's why one of the reasons that we wanted to create Supermeme.ai is for social media managers who are expected to put out memes on a daily basis, who are expected to, because that's where the pressure is the highest. And if you're not a meme creator, it's going to be a nightmare. Where do you even start? Where do you go and where do you search for ideas, right? So I would say if you're not a meme creator, if it's not something that you want to do, if it's not something that you are kind of trying to do, it's not something you're interested in, it's okay. You don't have to do it. Find someone who can do it. See if you can get someone within the company. So a good place to start would be to scout for people within the company who are probably good at this and empower them to do it, because these kind of people exist, just that they're probably not in the marketing team, they're somewhere. But even otherwise, if you don't have, let's say, that skill set within the company, you don't have to do it. It's better to not put something out than just because you have to put a meme to putting a meme out. So that's kind of what I would recommend. But yeah, Supermeme.ai is an option. You could always put whatever is on your mind.
I totally agree because as like let me be honest, I have zero skills with meme or being humorous. Like I'm zero in that. But I think I had a look at your tool, and it's like after I took a look at that, it was very easy for me to get started. Like at least I know where to get started now. Previously I didn't know where to get started. I was completely lost. Like I can only think of these Buddy Velu comedies, but nothing else. I didn't know anything else. But after taking a look at your tool, I think I now know where to get started, and it's really really easy. So I think people should definitely take a look at the tool that you built.
Thank, thank you. That's good to hear.
All right. So the next question is like, what does the meme creation process look like? And now that we know where to get started, but what does the meme creation process look like? What is your process? And like, and more specifically for marketers, like how should they get started?
Okay, so let me highlight some of the pitfalls that people, especially marketers, do with the meme creation process, right? So the kind of memes from brands that I see floating around are very promotional, and memes are the worst way to promote anything that you have, because it just doesn't work, right? So here's how I would approach it, right? So when you you have to think of meme as a vehicle to communicate an idea, which means that your meme starts with an idea. And let's say from a marketing standpoint, the easiest thing to pick is the problem your product or service solves. So that's the easiest avenue for meme creation. So let's say you're running a CRM tool, and you're targeting marketing operations people, you're targeting salespeople, and your product solves a specific problem. You can use memes to highlight that problem. So let's say if your tool is slow or anything, you pick that problem, and then that's kind of where your meme starts from, right? So from there, you pick a template. I mean, in a traditional approach, is what you would do, right? You have an idea, and then you would go on image flip, and you would look through the templates to see what resonates, or maybe some template is already in trend, and then you try to fit your idea into that template. And once you pick a template, you would write a copy that goes on the meme, and it's important for the copy to be succinct so that it's funny, and it's important for the copy to be specific. So there are certain traits that gets associated with that kind of copywriting. And then once you have that, you need to format it in a way that is suitable for Twitter, for LinkedIn, and different social media. This is kind of how it looks, right? So I personally use 2 or 3 tools to get to this entire flow. So I use one tool to find the template, and if I can't find the template, I go on YouTube to find the template. I use image editing software for the formatting part of it. And this
Can
is kind of what
the
process
also?
looks like. But again, so I use image flip for. Yeah, so I use image flip for all the popular global templates, and for any of the local templates. For example, if I want to communicate a Tamil meme amongst my friends or in a different context, I go on YouTube and I just figure out myself. And once I have the template, image flip lets you edit the text yourself. But let's say if you want to do a little bit of exhaustive editing, you can go on a tool called InShot, which is on Android and iOS. It's free. It is a great tool for both video memes as well as image memes, and that lets you format it pretty much any way you want. So you go on there, and you can add all different elements. You can add images on top of it. You can add text. But I personally like to keep my memes simple, just text and the templates. But a lot of people like to add images on top of it and things like that. You can still do that on InShot. And InShot also lets you format it to a different social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all those things. And you export it from there, and you can share it. So this is kind of my workflow. Finding the template is the toughest part. Once you have that, and then then writing the copy is kind of the next toughest thing. But putting this all together, it takes a while. If you're doing it for the first time, it will probably take you 5 to 10 minutes to put a single meme together. But if you know where to find the templates, if you know the kind of copy that you want to write, it will probably take you less than 2 or 3 minutes. But it's still a time-consuming process.
Yeah, I know. And should you watch a lot of movies to remember all these templates?
It helps, but I would say that you don't have to know the actual context. For example, a lot of the popular templates, right? I'm struggling to think of something immediately. Maybe some of the in the Lord of the Rings, there's a Gandalf template that says "You shall not pass." And it's a very straightforward thing, right? You can use it
Yeah.
for anything where you say you shouldn't come in. You don't need to watch the movie to know that context.
Got
So
it.
templates in itself have a story that they communicate, and sometimes the story is very different from the actual movie context. Like, it would have taken out of context so many times that people don't even remember where that template came from, just so the template is popular. So, like, for example, there is that image of a woman pointing at the cat. It's probably from some movie, but a lot of people won't even know which movie it's from. Like, I don't even know if it's a movie series or a TV series. But the template itself has a story, and it kind of forms it independently. So I think you don't need to watch a lot of movies, but then it definitely helps. For example, personally, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so there's a lot of content that I've written around Harry Potter, which requires you to understand Harry Potter and try to relate that to the work that you're doing. But for general meme marketing, you don't have to be a movie buff. You just need to understand what the template. You just need to be aware of the memes, and that's enough to create memes.
Got it. Now we know like where to get started and the process that's involved, and the research that's involved. I also wanted to know where do you use these memes? Like, do you use in the blogs or social media? Like, where else can we use memes?
Okay, so there are a bunch of places, social media being the most obvious target, right? That is kind of where you use.
Yeah.
But even in social media, you could use it in your own brand account, like the corporate account, or you could use it in your personal account. So one thing that I've seen in the recent times that has been successful is people tend to trust people a lot more than brands, which means, for example, the memes that I share on my own personal account tends to get a lot more reach than the ones I share on the social media, like the company account. And a lot of time I've been wondering, because when I started out, I was good at my social media, but when I was responsible for my company social media, I sucked. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was not able to get any sort of engagement. Then I realized I'm probably better at, like, when I'm more comfortable when it's my account. So I would kind of recommend people trying to share content through their personal accounts, and then bring it back to the company brand. So social media is a great place to talk about. So that way you get to build your own personal brand as well. I mean, if you want to do that through things. And blog post, it's a good accompanying collateral to the content that you're trying to communicate. Let's say if you have 5 points in a blog post, each point could be a meme, and maybe that can be used on social media to promote that blog itself. So that's again a good way, because like I said, right, your blogs communicate an idea, and that idea can be turned into a meme. So anywhere you have ideas, that's a good place. And presentations are a great place, like, be it internal, be it external. And you would find memes popular in conferences right now. It's no longer considered unprofessional. It's that you just need to be careful to overdo it. You don't want to have a slide that just you don't want to end up being just a funny person and not educating anything, but use memes as an accessory to communicate your idea. And I think one underrated place where memes can be used is internal marketing, right? The reason I say that is, in an internal marketing context, you can get a lot more personal. For example, let's say if we are doing this out of Chennai, like here, if I want to use Tamil memes to communicate an idea, just within the office, I can do that. And it's going to land a lot stronger because there's also a personal context, and there's a lot of inside stories, inside jokes that you can use. And you can use all that context to communicate ideas internally, and it will stick. Again, so at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is get an idea to stick, and this is one of the ways to do it. And I've also seen people use it in paid display ads. I've personally not tried it myself. I've never worked in digital marketing, like paid marketing, but I've heard and seen people do that. So that's probably a place. And I think wherever, like maybe in group chats, maybe in Slack, it's a great way to stand out. If you're, for example, even for your own personal brand within the company, right? You can be known as that person who posts a lot of memes or who uses memes to communicate. So it's got a lot of these secondary benefits.
Great. All right. So we spoke a lot about the benefits of meme marketing, but I also wanted to know if there are any risks at all involved in using memes for marketing.
So I think the risks are higher. That's probably why it's not as popular as it should be. Some of the for example, the first risk that comes to mind is if it's not funny, it just falls flat, and it's just not a good place to be, right? Where you let's say you put in a lot of effort, and you post something, and then obviously people are not gonna be rude and come and tell you that it's bad. But if let's say it gets no engagement, it makes you feel bad. Versus for example, you're used to sharing blog posts and you know the kind of engagement it gets, but when you put an effort to create something like a meme or a comic or a video meme, it needs to get some engagement. So that is definitely a risk. But the bigger risk is you might accidentally offend people, which is something that I'm personally very careful about. There are memes that I've created which could be funny, but then even if they are potentially offending someone even a little bit, I will not post them, because that defeats the entire point, right? Because you're using this as a channel to communicate an idea, but it shouldn't be at an expense that someone should get offended. I think for brands, the biggest risk is that they could offend someone unintentionally. You wouldn't know it when you're creating it. And there is also a risk of creative agreements between people, because memes are very subjective. It's one person will find it funny, the other person might not find it funny.
Yeah.
But it's a risk in terms of just working with people, because you might think something is funny and then it might not get approved. Some people might think it's offended, it's offensive. So there's a risk involved in just the way of working. It's much easier to agree on a blog post topic or a social media post than to agree on a meme. So there is that angle.
Great. Awesome. So we have reached the end of the episode. But before I let you go, I just wanted to ask, do you have any piece of advice that you want to give it away to our listeners?
I think when it comes to, again, I don't know if I've been doing this long enough for advice. See, when it comes to especially memes or generally using humor, right? I think companies, as marketers, you need to embrace the idea of humor more, and also the fact that you need not be the person doing it. For example, let's say if humor is not your natural trait, it's okay. Yeah. But what you can do is find someone else who's probably good at it, and they may not be in your marketing team. They may be somewhere else in the company. They probably have a thriving personal social media account where they're doing something. I think as marketers, you just have to start looking outside your team to find people who are good at content creation. Just pull them in, right? And trust me, any employee will be happy to represent their brand and post content. I think marketers can start looking at people outside, because right now almost everyone is a creator with we have a smartphone, we can take videos, we have all these tools. So the chances of you finding a creator outside your team is super high. We just have to be open to the idea that there might be other people who are good at using humor, creating this type of content that we can leverage. I think that's the only thing that I don't see marketers doing a lot more, looking outside the team to find people to create content. It's either them or outsource or influencers, but there are people who are not in the marketing team who could be good at doing that. So I think that's the one thing that I feel is underrated and probably marketers should be doing more of.
Great piece of advice, Sanjeev. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I absolutely loved your energy and enthusiasm throughout the conversation. I will give your LinkedIn profile in the description so people can connect with you later and talk more about meme marketing. And I will also mention the tools you mentioned in this video in the description so people can check that out. Right, it was nice talking to you, Sanjeev, and see you and talk to you again.
Thank you so much, Sanjana. It was great being here.
Thank you.